Religion didn't make sense until I was embraced to Islam. Alhamdulillah, at some point, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided me to Islam. Just right before I turned 21, I reverted to Islam, alhamdulillah. And since then, my whole life changed.
He thought success meant building the perfect business. But the moment he heard his Muslim friends say, "You're already one of us," something shifted. Not in his plans, in his soul. And sometimes, finding God means discovering you were already walking toward Him. Tom's journey from secular Dutch entrepreneur to devout Muslim began with a 10-year-old's existential crisis in a tiny Netherlands town that seemed to have no answers for life's biggest questions. Born into a family split between Christian and atheist beliefs, Tom found himself caught in the middle with spiritual hunger that neither side seemed equipped to satisfy. His mother leaned toward Christian traditions, while other family members embraced casual atheism, leaving him to navigate the philosophical void that characterized much of Dutch society. The defining moment came when he approached his teacher with cosmic wonder. "We're floating on a planet surrounded by stars. What does it all mean? Why is this happening?" The teacher's response was swift and dismissive. "This is just the way it is. Accept it." But acceptance had never come easily to Tom, and even as a child, he sensed there had to be something more, some greater purpose behind existence itself. A restless spiritual nature collided with entrepreneurial ambition as Tom entered his teenage years. While his classmates spent weekends drinking and partying, he was building business ventures with focused intensity. This wasn't mere ambition. It was an instinctive understanding that alcohol and late nights would derail the greater purpose he felt calling to him, even if he couldn't yet name what that purpose might be. This disciplined approach created an unexpected bond with a small group of Muslim students at his school, mostly young men of Moroccan and Turkish descent. These students shared his commitment to early mornings and clean living, though their motivations seemed to spring from something deeper than practical considerations. While Tom rose before dawn to work on business plans, they were answering the call to Fajr prayer. While he avoided alcohol to maintain focus, they abstained as a religious conviction. These Muslim friends would tell him with knowing smiles, "You're already a Muslim, Tom. You believe in something higher. You know alcohol is bad. You wake up early like us. You just haven't realized it yet." Initially, Tom rejected this notion entirely. In his understanding, Islam was something foreign for Arabs and other ethnicities. The idea that a blonde, white Dutch person could authentically embrace Islam seemed impossible to his Western-conditioned thinking. His business began to flourish as he dedicated himself to entrepreneurship. By 17, he was earning significant income, experiencing success that made him feel invincible. But financial mistakes and overconfidence led to setbacks that brought him crashing back to earth, forcing him to confront the limitations of purely material pursuits. During this period of failure and self-doubt, his Muslim friends extended an invitation that would alter his life's trajectory. "Come join us for iftar. Just share a meal and conversation." What began as a simple dinner invitation evolved into something profound that touched the spiritual hunger he had carried since childhood. Tom decided to participate fully in the Ramadan experience, initially viewing it as an interesting cultural experiment. If his friends were fasting, he would fast too, treating it as a personal challenge. When they prayed 5 times daily, he committed to meditation sessions with equal frequency. As they read the Quran, he dove into self-development books, maintaining his secular framework while engaging with their spiritual rhythm. What had started as parallel practices began converging into something deeper. The intellectual and spiritual nourishment he found in their late-night conversations about philosophy, purpose, and existence provided answers he had been craving since childhood. These young men didn't dismiss his questions. They engaged with cosmic mysteries with the confidence of people who had found satisfying answers. The following year, when Ramadan returned, Tom asked for a copy of the Quran. As he read, internal tension built between growing fascination and critical questions his secular education had trained him to ask. The concept of monotheism particularly appealed to his logical mind. If God is truly all-knowing and all-powerful, how could there be multiple gods? If they disagreed, they wouldn't truly be divine. The unity of Islamic theology provided an intellectual framework that other belief systems had failed to offer. He was struck by the practical wisdom embedded in Islamic teachings. Prohibitions against gambling, alcohol, and adultery weren't arbitrary rules. They were protective boundaries, preventing destructive behavior he had witnessed throughout Dutch society. The Islamic economic principles resonated with his business experience, offering alternatives to interest-based systems that had contributed to his own financial setbacks. What impressed him most was his Muslim friends' confidence in their faith, not defensive posturing, but genuine openness to investigation. When he expressed interest in converting, one challenged him to investigate other religions first. Every religion claims to be the truth. Research them all, and you'll only become more convinced that Islam is correct. This invitation to seek truth wherever it led impressed him more than any evangelical pressure could have. The societal aspects proved equally compelling. In his secular environment, he had observed families torn apart by conflicting worldviews and communities lacking shared foundations. Among Muslims, he witnessed unity based on common principles, conflicts resolved through religious texts rather than personal opinion, and structure that provided guidance rather than endless relativism. If there's no God in your life, someone had told him, then your ego becomes God. This truth resonated deeply as he reflected on Dutch society. He had seen consequences of unchecked desire, how absolute freedom without moral boundaries could lead to destruction rather than fulfillment. Islam offered what his culture lacked: clear principles transcending individual whim. The decisive moment came during a routine haircut when Tom mentioned it was prayer time. The barber, surprised to hear this from someone who hadn't formally converted, asked, "What if you died tomorrow? Would you die as a Muslim or non-Muslim?" The question haunted him home, making death that ultimate reality everyone ignored, the lens through which he viewed his spiritual procrastination. That evening, he called his Muslim friends with sudden determination. "Tomorrow, let's arrange my shahada. I want to do it. I'm completely convinced." The mosque was packed for Friday prayers when Tom stepped forward to declare his faith. The Arabic words felt foreign on his tongue, but their meaning resonated in his heart. La ilaha illa Allah wa Muhammadun Rasul Allah. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. The congregation erupted in celebration, welcoming him into a community stretching across continents and centuries. The quiet moment at home afterward truly marked his transformation. Looking at his reflection, still wearing clothes from the mosque but feeling completely changed, he saw not just Tom the entrepreneur, but Tom the Muslim. The identity felt both strange and inevitable. "I'm a Muslim," he whispered, testing the words. The questions plaguing him since childhood finally had answers, and the spiritual emptiness that had driven him to seek meaning in business success was filled with something infinitely greater. The journey from that tiny Dutch town to Islamic faith had been winding and unexpected, but in retrospect, every step seemed to lead inevitably to this moment. The early morning business meetings that aligned him with Muslims at prayer, the rejection of alcohol that set him apart from peers, the relentless questioning that refused easy answers, all had been preparation for transformation that would give his life the meaning and purpose he had always sought. Throughout his journey, Tom was influenced by the confidence and practical wisdom he witnessed among Muslims, drawing on his entrepreneurial background to appreciate the systematic brilliance of Islamic principles. His transformation from questioning child to successful businessman to devoted Muslim provided meaningful connection between his past seeking and present fulfillment. Tom's story represents a unique intersection of Western entrepreneurial culture and Islamic conversion, illustrating how genuine spiritual seeking can lead to unexpected destinations that fundamentally reshape one's understanding of success, community, and purpose. In embracing Islam, he had found not just a religion, but a comprehensive way of life addressing both his intellectual needs and spiritual hunger, connecting his individual journey to a timeless tradition, offering answers to questions that had shaped his entire life.